everybody, and welcome to another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies based on nothing but their weird descriptions.
I am Brantley.
I'm Albert. Brantley's going to read for us today. What do you got?
Well, a couple episodes ago, we did The Blind Dead 3.
Okay.
Because it was pirate-themed.
Right?
And it was a pirate episode. But we can't leave it at that.
So there are other Blind Dead movies?
There are 3 other Blind Dead movies.
So Blind Dead's 1, 2, and 4 is what we're talking about, yes? Or is there a prequel? The Blind Dead Beginning. The Sighted Dead.
All right, we're just gonna dive in because this is gonna be an emotional journey.
I want to unpack what the sequel will be about. Is it about them becoming blind or about them becoming dead, or both? If it's a prequel movie,
well, it's the first.
Is
one.
it just?
We read the third one.
Okay.
In a series of 4.
Okay.
The first one we have is Tombs, plural, of the Blind Dead.
Tombs of the Blind Dead. Yes. All right. You know, all dead people are blind.
Yeah, but they're like eyeless.
They can't see anything.
I mean, not if they come back to life. They somehow see.
Well, then they're not. Well, that's the whole argument about what the undead means, but fine. Okay. So they're zombies and they can't see you. It's an open question whether zombies hunt by sight anyway. But these guys are explicitly...
Depends on the zombie.
...about hunting by sound.
Yes.
We've got a Quiet Place, or what's the one where they go down in the cave? I forget.
Begins with a D.
Descent.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
I was like getting delving, depths, no brain. That's incorrect.
Dolores.
That's not even close.
We got it.
Anyways, Tombs of the Blind Dead is about a legion of Templar knights, executed horsemen whose eyes have been picked out by crows, rise rotting from their graves. Apparently they're taking a long time to rot. Hunting only by sound in a quest for human flesh.
Okay. I like that we establish how they became, like, they lost their eyes. Possibly, I would say crucified. Makes sense? Or just left out for a little bit. If I was going to kill a Knight Templar, I would probably straight up crucify that guy.
The Blind Dead saga begins here, as a modern-day tourist trip to the ruins of the Templar monastery unleashes a frenzy of lesbian desire, sexual violence, and the unholy onslaughts of the eyeless undead.
I mean, to be fair, if you wanted to make some guys from, like, 1400 mad, I think that a lesbian orgy would be a good way to do it. They probably would, especially if they were super Catholic, would have a problem with that. How does this happen? I don't. So you're like, you've got the tour group in the monastery or whatever.
The tomb.
In the tomb, right?
No, no, it's in the monastery.
Okay, but there's tombs in the monasteries, yeah. And then some lesbians are just like, break off
from the group and just start making out real hard.
In my mind, they're not even breaking off from the group. It's just like a group of lesbians. They're like, all right, well, here's good. And the tour guide's like,
they're going through the tour guide.
What?
And it's like, and take off your pants.
And then, because he's a pervy guy, he's just like, all right, I'm into it. Continue.
All right, that's it we have for the Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Oh, that's it?
That's it for the first.
Okay. The lesbianism was a twist I was not expecting.
Right?
It was, not really a twist, I would say, but okay. Go ahead. What's tomb? What's two tombs?
All right. Next we have The Return of the Blind Dead. Not to be confused with Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, well, these guys aren't living.
And they are blind.
Yes. Also, there's Return of the Evil Dead.
500 years after they were blinded and executed.
It's still an execution. But...
Death by snoo.
You gotta go.
Anyway, 500 years after they were blinded and executed for committing human sacrifices, a band of Templar knights returns from the grave to terrorize a rural... I can't use that word ever.
Rural.
That one.
Rural.
A farm-like Portuguese village during its centennial celebration. Stop giving me words I can't say. From the south. Be nice.
So this is in Portugal now? I guess that makes sense. It's right there by Spain, right? Sort of an island. Isn't that an island off of Spain? Am I getting Portugal wrong?
I do not know.
I'm pretty sure it's right there by Spain.
I willingly admit my ignorance.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not even an island. It's just a separate country right there in the same little area as Spain.
Cool.
So
I think this is like the tour group is now dead, and now they've just left a monster to go terrorize the town because they hear like celebrations.
Okay.
So who knows how they were just bopping around the tomb blind until they started hearing the celebrations going off.
Yeah, it would have been fine, but somebody started setting off fireworks, and they're like, "Whoa, sounds,
heathens."
What do you think their problem is here?
They eat flesh.
Oh, they're just zombies.
Yeah,
they're not. I was hoping that they had some kind of like basic purpose, right? Like they're Templars. The fact that
maybe they eat the flesh of sinners,
maybe.
Because
it's like a Jason thing,
kind of. I mean, they were woken up by a lesbian orgy, so
yes, very much so. Is that the end of that one? That was very short. Good. Keep going then.
Being blind, lest you forget the return of the living or the blind dead are in fact blind and dead, and they're returning.
Yes.
The Templars find their victims through sound, usually the screams of their victims.
What? Why are they screaming if they haven't found them yet?
I mean, they found one, and there's like, oh my god! And they're like, oh, there's another one. Get him!
That's okay.
Taking refuge in a deserted cathedral, a small group of people must find a way to escape from the creatures. Leave town quietly. It's not hard. I get this quote-unquote a legion of Templars, but still.
How long have they been making the Blind Dead movies?
It was mostly just 70s. Last one was in 1974.
There was one Tombstones of the Blind Dead in 2016.
Is that a sequel?
I don't know. I'm looking here. It might be a short film or a very, 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 very low budget movie.
Is in 1974. I think. 1976, sorry.
Oh, Boot Hill Blind Dead 2 is an alternate title for the 2016 one. Continue with yours, and maybe we'll go on with the new ones.
Well, that's the end of the first, or the second one.
Okay. Well, what's next?
All right, the third one, of course, was Galleon or the Ghost Galleon, or whatever.
Right. So somehow at the end of Blind Dead 2...
they were put on a ghost ship, unless there's just another group of this... At some point, they're on a galleon, out at sea, but they're, like, in their coffins?
Okay.
And then the third one happens.
Which
with
is...
that horrible, sketchy businessman who sent those two ladies out to sea to be stranded.
Right. So Blind Dead 4 is what?
Night of the Seagulls.
Is it just called Night of the Seagulls?
Night of the Seagulls.
Blind Dead 4, Night of the Seagulls.
The fourth and final of the Blind Dead saga. Night of the Seagulls.
That's disappointing. What? Okay, whatever.
The film starts in medieval times, when a young couple is attacked by the Knights Templar. The man is instantly killed, and the woman is carried away to the Templar's castle, where she is sacrificed, which, as we mentioned, is why they were,
Is this the prequel I was asking for?
The story then continues in the 20th century.
Yes! This is the Blind Dead prequel we've all been asking for!
Dr. Henry Stein and his wife, Joan, are moving into a very primitive coastal town. Thank you, I can say that word. I can't say roar.
How primitive is it? Are they like, Cape? Oh, me, Grog. You, Starbucks, man. Buy Starbucks.
Where they are met with distrust and hatred from the locals. So
the joke here is that we have cavemen working at a Starbucks.
Yes, it's very Flintstones. Except the Flintstones didn't talk like that. It does not take long before the doctor and his wife find out that the town harbors an ancient evil. Every 7 years, undead Templars ride from the sea for 7 consecutive nights to demand the sacrifice of a young maiden.
So we kind of know now how Blind Dead 3 ends. Their ship must have sank, but they're still alive. So we have
now,
like
every
zombies.
7 years, they go.
Why is it every 7 years? Now we're getting into possibly having like some.
It's the mist now, basically.
Oh, I haven't seen the mist.
Or not the mist, the fog.
Okay, but so they must have some intention.
Maidens to sacrifice.
No, I get that. I'm saying like they're not just zombies at this point. They have some.
Yeah, they've stopped just eating people.
Okay,
maybe they do that too.
Maybe.
They need the bodies to keep going, but it's like, we must sacrifice. The doctor and his wife then try to save one of the maidens, Lucy, from her horrible fate, aided by the local village idiot, Teddy.
Okay. You don't get as many village idiots well, I guess in the Adam Sandler movies you do. But that trope seems to have died down somewhat. Making fun of people with mental problems has been become a little bit gauche.
It's a little not. Good.
Okay. Is that it for that?
That's it for the Blind Dead saga.
You will be happy to know, Brantley, the Blind Dead are returning.
Yay!
In 2018.
Woo!
The Blind Dead.
Topical.
Still a thing. Curse of the Blind Dead is in production, and we have an exclusive.
I see what website you're on. Don't lie to the audience.
Okay, it's not okay.
Don't act like
it's a
we
Sean
reached out.
Hannity exclusive. You probably never listened to Sean Hannity, but he would always just say like an exclusive interview with like, well, unless it's not exclusive in the sense that you're the only person who's ever interviewed this guy. It's just the only one they're doing today with you. That's not what exclusive means.
Anyways.
Yes. So, Blind Dead, Curse of the Blind Dead 2018 in pre-production. So who knows when it's actually going to come out? But we're going to read the synopsis anyway.
Will be accurate when it comes out.
In the 13th century, a group of Satan's worshippers, Knights Templar?
So they were undercover to hide their Satanism from the church. I'm on board with this.
Okay. So
I actually watched this as like I'd watch this as like a Star series.
They're captured during a ritual and brutally murdered by the locals. So I guess they didn't keep it undercover good enough.
I mean, they were kidnapping ladies to sacrifice.
Someone's
gonna notice.
Yes. Well, they didn't say what kind of ritual it was. They didn't say human sacrifice.
Well, that's when they were killed. Well, this is a different group of blind Templars.
Oh, that's fair. Well, this is maybe the reboot.
Okay, fair.
I don't know if they're keeping everything from the original.
How dare they reboot this hallowed ground sequel or series?
They've ruined my childhood, Brintley. Not my Blind Dead. Just before the execution, the knights swear to return from the graves to haunt the village and nearby forest.
And sometimes a pirate ship.
And sometimes a pirate ship. Also, like, good
and
for
the monastery.
You guys. But I don't know if that's how that works.
They were worshipping Satan. He's like, all right, throw him a bone.
We need to make like a pact, Brintley, that when we're on our deathbeds, we do need to swear to haunt some people. Just to see if it works. I swear in 20 years I will rise from the dead. I will punch my way out of my coffin and come after anyone who has remade any more Blind Dead films.
What if those do work, but they're like just bones now, so they're like weekly punching the top. I didn't think this through, and now I can't die. Stuck here forever.
Centuries later, a group of people is trapped in the same places where the ritual had taken place.
All right.
And that was written by the people who were creating the film, Mafarka Film, who has one title
and
that they're making.
Curse of the Blind Dead.
So I'm glad someone's bringing this back around. That's all we've got. That's the only coverage we have of Blind Dead, Brantley. We're a little bit short on this episode. Should we get another one in?
Sure.
Since we've covered all the Blind Dead stuff?
Every possible iteration.
Since we didn't have enough meat on the Blind Dead bones, Brantley, I've got one to take us out to fill out the episode. We're going to talk about Shepherd, also known as Cyber City.
I like how we're keeping with the Christian vibe.
Yes. In a post-apocalyptic underground society ruled by evil. No. Oh, okay. I didn't read that right. Hold on. In a post-apocalyptic underground society ruled by rival religious cults, Dakota is working as an assassin, or shepherd, for the cult Church of Miles. Okay. First of all, like a wild interpretation of the word shepherd there.
I mean, it's just a code word. That's...
Okay. Also, the fact that there's some guy named Miles who gets a church named after him in the future. What do you think this Miles did to get like the Church of Miles?
Built the church?
Yeah, I mean, is there like a philosophy? Do you think he like made it look like he did some miracles or
probably
was super strong?
Maybe he did do miracles.
Maybe he did. Miles. I can't get on board with that. It's not.
It's so there's
really
like no
name.
Just kind of like whatever names in the Bible that you just accept because it's in the Bible, like Joseph.
Well, Joseph didn't do any miracles though. Like he's just some guy. He had been given. I'm sorry,
Mary.
Mary didn't do any miracles. She had a miracle done to her, kind of. I don't know. That's a weird splitting of hairs.
Paul.
Well,
Peter.
Yes. I'm not at the Church of Peter, though. He has been given an assignment to take out a female shepherd from a rival cult, but balks at completing the task when he sees that his target has a young child. Man, this guy's not good at his job.
This is making me think of the movie Priest.
He also should, like, if I was a person who was afraid to get assassinated, I would just start carrying around kids with me. If I knew
it would probably not work on all of them.
I guess so.
Unless it's like that's an oath they take, in which case you'll probably be frowned on for just using the child as a human shield.
The two assassins and the child all find themselves being hunted down by both cults. Yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah.
And so decide to stick together as they run for their lives. Along the way, they encounter several other strange religious compounds, as well as random thugs living on the outskirts of society.
What kind of apocalypse do you think this is?
I don't know.
Is it nuclear?
It's
zombie?
very religion heavy. Like, religion seems to be a huge part of what's left of the world here. They're sort of, I guess
That would not surprise me if that actually happens.
Well, it did already happen in the Dark Ages, right? We had the sort of shining, beacon of society, which was Rome. Rome goes away. What's left? It's the religious sort of infrastructure. They have all of the bureaucracy as a Catholic Church. The thing is, in the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church was able to be powerful.
The church.
Yeah, because it was a single entity, and so it connected everybody. Here, it's a bunch of warring religious factions, which I don't see being as organic.
I mean, that might be in place of countries you just have your religion.
Yeah, although I would imagine that you're going to have like much smaller countries at that point. But I don't know.
It's the apocalypse, so there can't be that many people. It's another genetic bottleneck for us.
It's not. I mean, I think if we lost like 50% of the population, we would consider that an apocalypse. There's still a lot of people left. I don't know. This one's kind of weak, apparently, but we needed to tag on something to Blind Dead, so we would have a full episode. People don't want to get like they got cheated.
Ooh, another episode with filler.
If the people feel like they got cheated, apparently they won't tell their friends about us. Maybe they aren't already. Maybe that's a thing that's happening. We would like for you to tell your friends about us, because that's it for this episode.
Follow us on Twitter and let us know how you felt about the episode.
I'm at Albert_Berg.
Or just the podcast one.
Do we have a... Oh, yeah, we do.
You tweet from it all the time.
I tweet from it occasionally at TWDW pod, which is a convenient but very difficult to say. We will see you guys next week with another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch.
Bye, guys.
Bye.